Yep, let's go ahead and do gentlemen. If you're new here, my name's Sandra. I love old books. The chosen ones hate me, so we are going to go over as much actual real history as possible. So if there's something you want me to look up, leave me a comment. Also, look through the videos. We've done a bunch of stuff. Now, gentleman is not in the encyclopedias from the 1920s, but it is in this set, which is the Chambers Encyclopedias, and this is from the 1890s. Gentleman, in its original and strict sense, a person of noble descent. The first part of the word comes from the Latin gentilis, which signifies belonging to a gens or family. The terms gentleman and nobleman were formerly identical in meaning, but the popular signification of each has become gradually modified, that of the former having widened, of the latter having become more restricted. The continental noble FR, or Adele GER, still retains the original sense of our gentleman. The broadly marked distinction between the nobleman or gentleman and the rest of the community is one of the most prominent features of medieval life and the source from which the less abrupt gradations of rank in modern society have been developed. The gentry of England had formerly many privileges recognized by law. If a churl or peasant defamed the honor of a gentleman, the latter had his remedy in law. But if one gentleman defamed another, the combat was allowed. In equal crimes, a gentleman was punishable with less severity than a churl, unless the crime was hearsay, treason, or excessive contumacy. A gentleman condemned to death was beheaded and not hanged, and his examination was taken without torture. In giving evidence, the testimony of a gentleman outweighed that of a churl. A churl might not challenge a gentleman to combat, quia conditions imperis. After the introduction of heraldry, the right to armorial insignias or insignia genitalia became as the jus imaginum had been along the Romans. The test of gentility or nobility. Gentility was, of course, inherited, but it was also within the prerogative of a sovereign prince to ennoble or make a gentleman of a person of a lower grade whom he thought worthy of the distinction and whose descendants accordingly became gentlemen. We have examples in England of the direct exercise of this prerogative by the sovereign as late as the reign of Henry VI. The patent of gentility or nobility being accompanied with no title of honor, but merely with a coat of arms, the grant containing the words nobilitatis, nobilimque, facimus, et cremus, et insignia hugismati, nobitatis, arma et amorum insignia damus et concedimus. Letters of nobility of a similar description are granted by the emperor in Germany and Austria to the present day, conferring no title but only the status of Adel, nobleman or gentleman, indicated by the prefix von to the surname. A gentleman of ancestry was or is something beyond a gentleman of blood and coat armor. He must be able to show purity of blood for 5 generations. Example, that his ancestors on every side for 4 generations back, his 8 great-great-grandfathers and 8 great-great-grandmothers were all entitled to coat armor. The purity of blood is still insisted on for certain offices in Germany and Austria. In England, the concession of an insignia genitalia or of creating a gentleman has long been deputed to the King of Arms, the prerogative of a sovereign in the matter of the rank being directly exercised only in creating peers, baronets, or knights. In our own day, while the stricter meaning of the word is retained in the expression gentleman by birth, the less abrupt graduation of ranks and the courtesy of society have caused the term gentleman to be implied in a somewhat loose sense to anyone whose education, profession, or perhaps whom income raises him above ordinary trade or menial service, or to a man of polite or refined manners or ideas. See Esquire and nobility. So what should we go over next? Oh, also, there is man in it as well. So do you want me to also do, it's not men, it's just man? Just leave me a comment, let me know.